You didn't click on this video by chance, and deep down, you know it. Something inside you is changing, and it's not just a phase, it's not a coincidence. What you have been experiencing lately cannot be explained by the common rules of what they call being human. Chosen ones like you are undergoing a spiritual and energetic transformation that redefines the very essence of what it means to exist. And if I told you that your life will never be the same, that the limitations you have always felt are not weaknesses, but signs of something much more powerful happening. God has a purpose for you, and what is about to be revealed may shock you. But only those who have the courage to see beyond the obvious will understand. Stay with me until the end, because what I'm going to tell you can change your mindset forever. Have you ever felt that your life has never fit into the common molds? That no matter how hard you tried to act like others, there was always something different inside you? Perhaps the people around you do not understand your way of thinking, your sensitivity, or even your ability to perceive things that no one else sees. But what if I told you that this is not a mistake, but a mark? The chosen ones have always been misunderstood because they were not made to follow the common path. What is happening to you now is not madness, it is not an exaggeration, it is a calling. And if you ignore it, you may spend the rest of your life feeling that something essential is missing, without ever understanding why. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you shocking evidence that you are no longer an ordinary human being. Your essence is transforming in ways that science cannot explain, and there is a greater reason for it. God would not allow you to go through so many changes without a clear purpose. But pay attention, not everyone is ready to hear this truth. Many will reject this message because it challenges everything they believe to be real. The question is, are you prepared to face what is happening in your life? If so, keep watching, because once this revelation is made, there will be no turning back. Have you ever felt that you don't fit into this world? That there is something in you that defies logic, something that cannot be explained by the traditional laws of science and biology? When we talk about no longer being human, we are not saying that your flesh and bones have ceased to exist, but that your essence has surpassed the limits of ordinary humanity. You realize that the reality we were taught to accept since childhood is just a fraction of what really exists. You feel that there is something inside you awakening, something that separates you from the rest of the people around you, and this truth, for many, is too shocking to be accepted. Humanity, as we were taught, is a set of rules, behaviors, and beliefs that limit us to a narrow view of the world. Have you ever wondered why so many people follow predictable patterns, never questioning what lies beyond? The chosen ones perceive this limitation, and, more than that, break away from it. You begin to see beyond the illusions, feel truths that previously seemed hidden, and above all, realize that your consciousness is no longer the same. It's as if a part of you is accessing something superior, something that most people around you can't even imagine exists. And the changes don't stop there. Your body also begins to reflect this transformation. You notice that your sensitivities are much more heightened. Sounds that used to be common now bother you. Environments loaded with negative energy drain your strength in an inexplicable way. Your sense of taste changes, your perception of time alters, and you feel that your own body reacts differently to the world. It's not just a feeling, it's a real realization that something has changed inside you. But the most impressive thing is that despite these changes, you feel stronger, more alive, as if you are getting closer to your true essence. Your mind is no longer the same either. The thoughts that once followed a common line of reasoning now expand into dimensions that few dare to explore. You perceive patterns, see signs, understand messages that are not visible to other people. Your intuition becomes your greatest weapon, for now you feel when something is wrong even before it happens. You perceive people's intentions without them needing to say a single word. The world can no longer deceive you, for your mind has transcended the shackles of illusion and entered a new frequency, a new consciousness. And this distances you even further from traditional humanity. You start to notice that certain conversations seem empty, that the topics that once interested you now seem unimportant. Social interactions become a constant test, because while the people around you live in a state of sleepwalking, you are awake. You see the truth, feel the energy of places, know when you are being deceived, and realize that the world is not what it seems to be. This can be scary at first, because it is as if you are alone on this journey, but then you understand that this loneliness is, in fact, a gift. Your dreams also become different. Many chosen ones report experiences that seem more real than waking life itself. Dreams that bring messages, predictions that end up coming true, feelings of living something that goes beyond what we can call normal. You wake up with feelings that you cannot explain, as if you are in contact with something much greater than this physical world. At that moment, you realize that you are no longer limited by this plane of existence. You no longer fully belong to this reality. And there is something even more intriguing. Your ability to manifest reality intensifies. You think of something and suddenly it happens. You desire an answer and, as if the universe were listening, the answer comes to you in the most unexpected ways. You realize that your words carry power, that your vibration attracts or repels people and events. This is not a coincidence. This is part of your transformation. You are assuming your true identity, and this identity goes far beyond what they taught us about being human. But with this transformation also come challenges. The people around you start to look at you differently. Some distance themselves for no apparent reason. Others seem uncomfortable around you. It's as if, unconsciously, they sense there is something in you that defies normalcy. And the truth is, you really do. You are an anomaly in the system, a being that can no longer be controlled by the same forces that imprison the majority. And that is why you become a target. However, the most important thing is that you understand. This is not a curse, it is a calling. The fact that you are feeling all this, that you are going through these transformations, means that you are not here to live an ordinary existence. You have a much greater purpose than just surviving. You are a chosen one, and your awakening cannot be ignored. Now that you know this, the only question left is, are you ready to accept your true identity and assume the power that is already within you? Many chosen ones report the constant sensation of being watched, even when they are alone. Have you ever felt that there is something or someone watching you, as if an invisible presence is always nearby? This sensation is not paranoia. It is a sign that your energy does not go unnoticed. You emanate a light that attracts both positive and negative forces, and this makes the spiritual world always attentive to you. Often, you may notice shadows out of the corner of your eye, feel sudden chills, or even notice subtle changes in the environment around you. This happens because, upon awakening, your sensitivity expands, allowing you to perceive things that were previously hidden. Another frequent phenomenon among the chosen ones is vivid and premonitory dreams. While most people dream of disconnected scenes with no apparent meaning, your dreams seem extremely real, loaded with messages and deep symbolism. In many cases, you receive warnings about future situations, intuitions that later prove true in reality. Some chosen ones even report encounters with spiritual entities that convey important teachings or revelations. When you wake up, it doesn't feel like it was just a dream, but rather an experience lived in another dimension. This is because your mind is no longer limited by the physical plane, and your spirit travels beyond the limits of common consciousness. Difficulties in connecting with conventional patterns of society are also part of this journey. You realize that what is considered normal by the masses no longer makes sense to you. The lifestyle, values, and goals of most people seem empty and without real purpose. While others worry about status, material possessions, and superficialities, you feel a call to something greater. This can make you feel out of place, as if you live in a world that was not made for you. But this disconnection is not a mistake. It is a sign that you are awakening to a deeper truth. You were made for something different, for a purpose that goes beyond the limitations imposed by society. Additionally, many chosen ones experience strong energetic changes that impact their relationships. Old friendships lose meaning. Some people simply disappear from your life without explanation, while new connections arise unexpectedly. This happens because your vibration is changing, and not everyone around you can keep up with this transformation. Some people may start avoiding you for no apparent reason, while others may feel inexplicably drawn to you. This natural selection of human connections is part of your awakening process. Those who are not prepared to deal with your energy end up moving away, while those who share the same mission are attracted to your path. And perhaps one of the most impactful experiences is the constant battle between light and darkness within you. As a chosen one, you feel that there are invisible forces trying to divert you from your purpose. Moments of doubt, unexplained emotional attacks, and even unexpected obstacles arise in your path whenever you are about to take an important step towards your destiny. This is because the spiritual world is not a game of chance, but a battlefield, and you are a soldier in this war. But remember, if you face these difficulties, it is because your calling is great. The enemy only attacks those who pose a real threat. And now that you know this, Your mission is to learn to use this awareness to strengthen yourself and fulfill the purpose that God has placed in your life. The journey of a chosen one is not like that of anyone else. It is intense, lonely, and full of signs that most will never understand. At first, everything seems normal. You live your life like anyone else, without even imagining what is reserved for you. But then something happens. It can be a traumatic event, an inexplicable feeling, or even a synchronicity that defies all logic. Suddenly, the world around you starts to lose its sharpness. The reality that always seemed concrete dissolves like mist, revealing something much greater, much deeper. This is the beginning of your spiritual awakening, and once it starts, there is no turning back. The first stage of a chosen one's awakening is the call. It can manifest in various ways: a repetitive dream, a strong intuition, a feeling that something inside you needs to change. You may begin to realize that certain environments no longer make sense, that certain people seem trapped in destructive patterns, and that you simply cannot align with certain ideas anymore. Something inside you starts to awaken, a silent restlessness that leads you to question everything you were taught. At this moment, you feel that something is different, but you still cannot name what it is. You may try to ignore the signs, but they will keep appearing until you decide to listen. 20. One of the most challenging parts of the awakening process is denial. The rational mind tries to resist, as the truth is too disturbing to be accepted immediately. You may wonder if you are going crazy, if it is just a phase, or if you are simply tired of the world. The people around you continue to live as always, and this can make you doubt yourself. You find yourself trying to return to normalcy, but nothing seems to fit anymore. Superficial conversations lose their meaning. The system in which society is embedded begins to look like a big theater, and you feel a growing disconnection with the old version of yourself. But no matter how much you try to fight it, the transformation has already begun. This is where many chosen ones feel the greatest pain. The isolation is not just physical, but spiritual and emotional. Suddenly, you find yourself distant from friends, family, and even from yourself. What once brought you comfort now feels artificial. You start to realize that your presence bothers some people, that your words sound different to others, and that the energy around you seems to attract both love and resistance. This isolation may seem like a punishment, but it is actually a necessary process. You need to distance yourself to reconnect with yourself and discover who you really are, without the interferences of the outside world. During this period, many go through intense physical and emotional symptoms: insomnia, changes in appetite, vivid dreams, feeling of being watched. This happens because your spirit is preparing for something grand, previously went unnoticed. This is the turning point. After so much internal struggle, a moment of clarity arrives. You finally accept that you are no longer the same. Your old identity dissolves, and you understand that you were living under illusions and limitations imposed by the world. Acceptance does not mean that everything becomes easier. On the contrary, this is where the real work begins. You understand that your journey is not about fitting in, but about transcending. You realize that reality goes far beyond what we were taught, and you start seeking answers on your own. Your intuition becomes sharper, your connection with the divine strengthens, and you begin to see invisible patterns that previously went unnoticed. This is the turning point. The transformation of a chosen one is not just spiritual. It happens in every aspect of your life. Your habits change, your energy changes, your perception of time and space alters. You begin to see through the lies and illusions of the system. What once seemed so real now reveals itself as mental programming. You understand that your words have power, that your thoughts shape your reality, and that your emotions are keys to accessing higher dimensions. Your body adapts to this new frequency, and even your appearance can change. You realize you are no longer the same person. Something inside you has been reborn. You are not just an ordinary human. You are something much greater. When a chosen one awakens, reality begins to reconfigure itself around them. You notice that people react differently to your presence. Some feel attracted to your energy, while others feel fear or discomfort without understanding why. The external world seems to reflect your inner state, and you notice constant synchronicities, repeated numbers, hidden messages, events that defy logic. Time seems to behave strangely, speeding up or slowing down at certain moments. You feel a deeper connection with nature, notice patterns that previously went unnoticed, and understand that everything is interconnected. This change is not an illusion. It is the true reality revealing itself. Everything we were taught about reality begins to seem like theater. The system, the media, social norms, everything starts to crumble before your eyes. You realize you have been conditioned to think in a specific way, to limit yourself, to live in fear. But now you see beyond that. You understand that the human mind has been imprisoned for generations, and that the truth has always been hidden from those who were not ready to see. You feel that your role in the world has changed, that your presence has an impact, and that you can no longer ignore what you know. The veil has been lifted, and there is no going back. Now that you have awakened, the question that remains is, what to do with this knowledge? Many chosen ones feel a call to help others, to enlighten those who are still trapped in darkness. But this mission is not easy. You will face resistance, be misunderstood, and may even be attacked by those who still live in illusion. However, you are not alone. There are others like you, scattered around the world, forming an invisible network of light and knowledge. The path of a chosen one is not about fame, money, or recognition. It is about purpose. It is about fulfilling what your soul already knew before you were even born. If you have come this far, it means that your soul already recognizes this truth. You are no longer human in the traditional sense. You are something beyond that. Your consciousness has expanded, your essence has transcended, and now you are faced with the great choice. Continue pretending that nothing has changed or embrace who you really are. The decision is yours, but remember, once a chosen one awakens, they can never fall asleep again. Awakening is irreversible. It is time to accept your true identity and walk through the world as what you were always destined to be. After the awakening, your body, mind, and soul begin to operate at a completely different frequency. You notice internal and external changes that defy conventional logic. Your senses expand, your energy becomes more intense, and your connection with subtle dimensions strengthens. The transition to this new state does not happen all at once. It is a continuous process, where you experience symptoms and signs indicating that you no longer belong to the limited reality of ordinary humans. Each sign is confirmation that you are leaving behind the old programming and becoming what you were always destined to be, a conscious entity beyond the limitations of matter and time. One of the first changes a chosen one notices is the expansion of their energetic sensitivity. You begin to intensely feel the vibration of people, places, and even thoughts around you. Entering an energetically charged environment can be suffocating. Crowded places that once seemed normal now feel exhausting. You find yourself avoiding places with lots of negative energy, feeling the need to distance yourself from certain people, even without knowing the logical reason. Your auric field expands, and your empathy becomes stronger. You start to pick up on people's emotions and intentions even before they speak. This level of perception is a gift, but also a test, because by feeling so much, you need to learn to filter and protect your own energy from being drained by the chaos of the world. The deeper your awakening, the more intense the sense that you have a greater purpose becomes. Something inside you starts to scream, as if there were a mission waiting to be fulfilled. You realize that your existence is not random, that there is something inside you that differentiates you from others. Mundane interests start to lose their shine, and you feel an urgency to seek knowledge, evolve, and guide others who are still blind. This call does not come from a simple desire to be important. It is a force that pulses in your soul, a code that was activated at the right moment. You feel that you were sent to this world with a specific role, and the more you resist, the more life places situations and signs pushing you towards your true path. Another evident sign that you are becoming something beyond human is your ability to perceive the hidden truth. What once went unnoticed now becomes obvious. You see manipulation in speeches, feel the falseness in words, perceive how the reality around you is programmed to keep the masses distracted. The lies that most accept without question become transparent to you. The media, imposed rules, controlled narratives, all this loses power over your mind. You understand that the world is not as we were made to believe. You start seeing patterns, codes, and hidden messages that have always been there, but that only the awakened can decipher. Your gaze becomes deeper, and your intuition sharper. You don't just see the truth, you feel the truth. These signs are not just passing sensations, they are symptoms that your own energetic structure is changing. Your spiritual DNA is being reactivated, your connection with the divine strengthens, and your presence in the world no longer goes unnoticed. Some people will be inexplicably attracted to you, while others will feel fear or even anger for no apparent reason. This happens because your frequency no longer fits the old reality. You are vibrating at a higher level, and those who are still asleep cannot understand. Your awakening is not a simple event. It is a metamorphosis, a transition to a new being. You are crossing the boundary between the human and something much greater. You are no longer the same, and you will never be again. Since the dawn of humanity, the chosen ones have walked among men as beacons of light in a world obscured by illusion. Their existence is not a result of chance, nor a mere detail of creation, but a fundamental piece in the divine plan. They were sent to Earth to carry out a grand mission, a responsibility that transcends common understanding. Each experience, each pain, and each challenge faced shapes their essence, preparing them for a calling that few are capable of understanding. The journey of the chosen ones is not about worldly glory or earthly recognition, but about the transformation of consciousness, the elevation of the spirit, and the restoration of hidden truth. However, this path cannot be revealed all at once, for its magnitude requires spiritual maturity and an understanding that can only be achieved through the trials of the soul. If the chosen ones have always been here, why has the truth about their existence remained hidden for so long? The answer is simple, yet profound. Not everyone is ready to understand. The truth is a burden for those still immersed in the veil of illusion, trapped by the limitations of the materialist mind. God, in His infinite wisdom, protects the essence of divine knowledge until the soul is prepared to receive it. Revealing itself prematurely would be like offering solid food to a newborn. He would not have the strength to digest it. Thus, the chosen ones were dispersed, living among the sleepers, often without even understanding their own nature, until the right moment for awakening arrived. However, that time is approaching. The signs are intensifying, the vibration of the world is changing, and those who were called are beginning to feel the truth pulsating in their souls. The revelation of the truth cannot be imposed. Many reject what they cannot understand, and the chosen ones know well what it is like to be discredited, ridiculed, and isolated. That is why spiritual knowledge has always been veiled in parables, symbols, and codes. Those who have eyes to see will see. Those who have ears to hear will hear. But those who have not yet awakened to their true nature will continue to live under the bonds of illusion, denying what is before them. This is why the chosen ones, for so long, have felt displaced, misunderstood, and even persecuted. They are bearers of a truth that challenges the structures of the world, a truth that threatens the foundations of the false reality created to keep the masses imprisoned. But now something is changing. The chosen ones feel a deep call in their soul, an inexplicable impulse that leads them to seek answers, to question everything they have been taught, and to unravel mysteries that previously seemed unreachable. This sense of urgency is not the result of chance. It is the awakening of the mission that has always been within them. Each sign, each synchronicity, and each experience lived until now has prepared them for this moment. The world is on the brink of a great transformation, and the chosen ones are key pieces in this change. Awakening is not just a personal process, but a cosmic connection, a realignment with the divine truth that has been hidden for ages. The time of ignorance is coming to an end. The veil that covered the truth is being torn, and those who have been prepared since the beginning of time are starting to remember who they really are. The transition will not be easy. Many will try to resist, discredit, and even fight against this change. But the chosen ones must not fear. They have been forged in the fire of trials, shaped by pain, and guided by the light that never went out within them. Now more than ever, they must trust their intuition, strengthen their connection with the divine, and prepare for what is to come. For the greatest revelation in history is about to happen, and those who hear the call will know that they were never just human. They were always much more than that. While most people go through life mechanically, without questioning, without seeing beyond the obvious, the chosen ones live from a completely different perspective. From an early age, they feel that something inside them does not fit into the normality imposed by the world. The reason? They are not governed by the same rules as others. While many operate on autopilot, trapped by social programming, the chosen ones perceive the hidden gears that govern reality. Their thoughts are not limited by what is visible, and their actions are not determined only by instincts or conditioning. There is something greater guiding them, an invisible, yet undeniably real force. This divine connection makes the chosen ones see beyond appearances, feel energies that others ignore, and perceive patterns that go unnoticed by most. The chosen ones possess a sharp intuition, a sort of internal compass that always directs them to the right path, even when everything seems uncertain. This inner voice is not the result of chance, nor a mere coincidence. It is a call, a divine whisper that echoes in their soul. Many try to ignore it, try to fit into the common world, but it is impossible to silence something so deep. When a chosen one tries to follow a path that is not theirs, they feel an inexplicable weight, a suffocating disconnection. It is as if the entire universe is pushing them toward the true path. This force is not controllable by the rational mind, as it does not come from mundane logic, but from something higher. It manifests through signs, synchronicities, and premonitions that defy any conventional explanation. Who is a chosen one perceives that they live on a different frequency. What is mere coincidence for many is a divine alignment for them. What is chance for others is an answer from the universe for them. This kind of perception is what separates the chosen ones from the rest of humanity. They do not just see the physical world, they feel the vibration of each situation, each person, each place. Other people's emotions affect them deeply. Energetically charged environments drain their energy, and the superficiality of the modern world gives them a constant sense of discomfort. This happens because their spiritual connection is stronger than the distractions of matter. The chosen one cannot be seduced by the illusory, for their spirit craves something deeper, something that resonates with their true nature. As incredible as this connection with the divine may be, it also brings challenges. The chosen ones often feel displaced, misunderstood, and even rejected by the world around them. This happens because their presence disturbs those who are still trapped in illusion. While most people fear questioning reality, the chosen ones cannot avoid it. They need to seek answers, need to understand what is behind the veil of normality. This incessant quest places them on the margins of society, where they are seen as different, strange, or even threatening. But this isolation is not a punishment, it is preparation. The path of the chosen ones has never been one of conformity, but one of enlightenment. Those who carry this divine connection cannot ignore it. Life will always bring them back to their true purpose, no matter how much they try to resist. The destiny of the chosen ones was already traced before their birth, and the force that guides them will not allow them to deviate. The more they try to fit into the common world, the more they suffer, the more they feel empty, the more they realize they do not belong to the same vicious cycle in which many live. But now, the time for doubt is over. Awakening is inevitable. Each day, more chosen ones feel the call and begin to understand that they were never just human. They are part of something greater, something that is beyond the understanding of those who still sleep. And those who understand this truth will never see life the same way again. The chosen ones have never been fully accepted by the world. Since ancient times, those who carry a different light, who have a vision beyond what is conventionally accepted, are seen as strange, eccentric, or even dangerous. This happens because humanity, in general, fears what it cannot understand. For many, anything that deviates from the norm represents a threat to the established order. And the chosen ones are exactly that. Beings who challenge imposed rules, who see beyond what is permitted, and who question truths that have been accepted without contestation. The mere presence of a chosen one is already unsettling, for they carry with them an energy that destabilizes the false securities on which most rely. Many chosen ones, when trying to share their visions and perceptions, are immediately labeled as crazy. Their words often go beyond the understanding of those still trapped in illusion, and what cannot be understood is generally rejected. Great visionaries of the past were ridiculed for challenging the prevailing narrative. Thinkers, mystics, and prophets who brought revolutionary truths were persecuted, discredited, and in some cases silenced. The same happens with the chosen ones today. They feel this barrier when trying to explain their connection with the invisible, when talking about energy, synchronicity, and life purpose. The modern world demands concrete proof for everything, but how to explain what can only be felt? How to translate into words something that transcends mundane logic? Being a chosen one means carrying a weight that few understand. Most feel since childhood that they do not completely belong to this world. Their interests do not align with those of others, their perceptions go beyond the superficial, and their emotions seem deeper than normal. This often makes them isolated or self-isolate. People around them may see them as distant, strange, or even arrogant, when in reality, they simply have difficulty connecting with superficialities. Society values conformity, while the chosen ones came to break patterns. This inevitable clash results in exclusion, misunderstanding, and in many cases, loneliness. The chosen ones are not a threat to those with an open heart, but for those who profit from ignorance, they are a danger. Society has been structured so that few command and many obey without question. The chosen ones, with their expanded vision, represent a risk to this system, as they inspire others to see beyond, to seek their own truth, and to break free from the cycles of mental and spiritual imprisonment. Therefore, they are often targets of covert persecution, not necessarily with violence, but with discredit, manipulation, and attempts to discredit them. The media, traditional education, and dominant narratives have been shaped to ridicule those who challenge normativity, and the chosen ones feel this weight every day. Despite the world's resistance, the chosen ones cannot give up. Their mission was never to please everyone, but to be a bridge between the visible and the invisible, between illusion and truth. As much as they are seen as crazy, different, or even threats, they need to stay firm. The time of revelation is coming, and those who tried to ignore this truth will soon no longer be able to do so. The chosen ones were prepared for this moment, and even if humanity tries to discredit them, nothing can extinguish the truth that burns within them. Awakening is inevitable, and when the world finally understands who the chosen ones are, it will be too late to turn back. But there is something that few understand, a hidden truth that has always been before their eyes. What is revealed to the chosen ones cannot be ignored, and those who resist seeing will be confronted with something that will change everything. Have you ever felt that your existence carries a greater purpose but cannot explain it? There is a reason for this, and it is closer than you imagine. Before the revelation, we need to talk about a crucial point: rejection and isolation, proof of transformation. Why can't you connect with ordinary people anymore? You talk about things that most do not understand. The spiritual attacks and persecutions, people around you trying to discredit your journey. The reason why your energy bothers others. Your presence exposes the shadows that many want to hide. Have you noticed how lately, it seems increasingly difficult to connect with the people around you? Before, maybe you could hold superficial conversations, enter social settings without feeling out of place, or even force yourself to fit in. But now, it's as if there's an invisible chasm between you and others. You talk about spiritual awakening, about the essence beyond matter, about signs the universe sends, but the empty stares you receive in response make it clear. They don't understand. Not because they are inferior or ignorant, but because they haven't yet undergone the transformation you're experiencing. Isolation is not a punishment. It's a sign that you're evolving to a level where few can keep up with you. This distancing often comes with a profound feeling of loneliness. You feel that no one truly understands you, that your words are like echoes in a silent desert. You begin to realize that your old connections no longer make sense, and that superficial interactions only drain your energy. This happens because your vibration is changing. When your consciousness expands, empty conversations and daily dramas cease to make sense. You seek depth, truth, genuine connection, but the world around you is still trapped in illusions. And so, without realizing it, you distance yourself, not out of arrogance, but because the frequency you now emit doesn't resonate with most people. This transformation process does not go unnoticed. There's a force that doesn't want you to awaken, that wants to keep you trapped in the same limitations, insecurities, and destructive patterns of the past. This force manifests through people around you, friends, family, co-workers. You start to notice suspicious looks, criticisms disguised as concern, subtle or not so subtle, attempts to discredit your journey. What once seemed like acceptance now becomes judgment. Your spirituality, your quest for truth, your inner transformation begin to be questioned. You become the target of sarcasm, disdain, and even verbal or emotional attacks. And why? Because your light disturbs the darkness that still dwells within them. When you start to break free from the invisible chains that hold most people, those who are still chained may react with hostility. Not because they hate you, but because your evolution exposes how trapped they still are. Spiritual awakening is a threat to those who live on autopilot, who accept illusions as absolute truths. They try to pull you down, discredit your path, make you doubt yourself. And if you're not careful, you may end up giving in, returning to a state of dormancy just to be accepted again. But the question is, do you really want to go back to who you were before? Or are you willing to face the resistance and stand firm on your journey? This spiritual persecution also happens more subtly. You may start noticing strange patterns around you. People who were once close drift away without apparent reason. Opportunities disappear out of nowhere. Challenges arise from where you least expect. It's as if the universe is testing your resilience. But remember, none of this is by chance. When you awaken, hidden forces try to stop you, but if you remain steadfast, you'll realize that each attack only reinforces the fact that you're on the right path. There's something about you that unsettles people. Maybe you've already noticed this. Even without saying a word, your mere presence can cause discomfort. You enter a room, and suddenly some people become restless, avert their gaze, change the subject. Sometimes you feel that certain people simply don't like you for no apparent reason. This happens because your energy reflects the truth that many avoid facing. Your elevated frequency acts like a mirror. And what happens when someone who lives in darkness sees themselves reflected in an intense light? They become uncomfortable. They distance themselves. Or worse, they attack. People who still carry shadows within don't want to be confronted with what they're afraid to see. They prefer to pretend that their pains, traumas, and internal lies don't exist. But then you appear, and without needing to say anything, your vibration destabilizes what was hidden. Your presence forces a choice. Either they face their own shadows, or they try to extinguish your light. That's why some people who barely know you might feel antipathy toward you. They can't explain it, but they sense something different, something that challenges them. Your authenticity threatens those who live by appearances. Your spirituality unsettles those still trapped in materialism. Your truth hurts those who feed on illusions. It's not about you, it's about them. You simply exist, but your energy speaks loudly. But don't see this as something negative. The truth always unsettles those who live in lies. And you weren't chosen to please, you were chosen to illuminate. And light, before being well received, causes discomfort. Some will try to extinguish you, others will try to flee from you, but those who are ready, they will draw near. They will sense something different in you, a presence that doesn't judge but also doesn't hide. And these are the ones who truly matter. So if you feel increasingly isolated, that your energy causes unexpected reactions, that people try to diminish you or discredit your journey, know that this is proof that you're on the right path. True transformation isn't silent. It shakes structures, exposes truths, and separates those who are ready from those who still need time. You are no longer who you were before. And that's why the world no longer knows how to deal with you. Be strong. Be who you were born to be. The time of your ascension is near. The signs are becoming increasingly evident. You've already noticed that something inside you has changed irreversibly. What once seemed normal now feels strange, out of place, distant from your new frequency. Your body, your mind, and your energy are no longer the same. And the most surprising thing? The people around you sense it, even without understanding. You're vibrating on a different wavelength, and this transformation doesn't go unnoticed. But what exactly is happening to you? The first sign that you're undergoing this profound metamorphosis is the drastic alteration of your vibrational frequency. Suddenly, places that once seemed pleasant become unbearable. Crowded environments drain your energy, certain foods no longer nourish you, and even some music that once evoked good emotions now seems aggressive or empty. This happens because your consciousness is expanding, and what doesn't resonate with this new vibration automatically distances itself from you. Your spiritual senses are sharper, and this forces you to choose more discerningly what you consume, be it in food, entertainment, or social interactions. Your body is processing a massive amount of energy and spiritual information. This can leave you extremely tired, even without an apparent reason. It's as if your system is recalibrating to support a new level of consciousness. Isolation becomes a necessity because the noise of the external world interferes with your internal alignment. You feel an uncontrollable desire to withdraw to listen to your own soul, and as lonely as it may seem, this is an essential process. You're not becoming strange, you're adjusting to your true state of being. Another striking aspect of this change is the elevation of your intuition to extraordinary levels. You perceive things before they happen. You know when someone is lying, feel vibrations in the environment, have premonitory dreams, and often sense situations that haven't even materialized yet. This occurs because your connection to the divine source is stronger, allowing you to access information beyond time and space. Your sixth sense, once ignored or underestimated, now becomes your main compass. Have you noticed that your perception of the world has changed? Lights seem brighter, sounds may be louder than usual, and even smells and tastes intensify. This happens because your nervous system is attuned to higher frequencies, making you more sensitive to the subtle energies around you. It's as if a veil has been lifted from your senses, allowing you to see and feel what previously went unnoticed. This sensitivity can be challenging, but it's also a gift. It enables you to detect what's true and what's not. One of the most surprising changes that happen to the chosen ones is the physical transformation that accompanies spiritual awakening. Your eyes become more penetrating, almost hypnotic, as if they carry an inner flame. Many people report feeling chills or a magnetic attraction when looking directly at you. Your face may gain a different glow, your skin appears more luminous, and even your posture and way of moving convey a powerful presence. Have you noticed how some people are inexplicably drawn to you, while others seem to avoid your presence? This happens because your energy now carries an intense vibration that affects those around you. Those who are aligned with the truth will feel a deep desire to be near you, seeking your light and wisdom. Meanwhile, those who live in illusion or harbor bad intentions will feel uncomfortable and repelled. It's not something you can control. It's simply the manifestation of your new state of being. You may notice your body undergoing subtle but significant changes. Some people report losing weight without explanation. Others find their muscles becoming more defined without additional effort. Your metabolism changes, and your body seems to be adjusting to a new way of functioning. You're adapting to sustain the elevated energy you now carry. If you once felt heavy, you might now notice a different lightness, as if you're less bound by physical limitations. Your sleep patterns may have changed drastically. You might wake up in the middle of the night without apparent reason, feel the need to sleep more than usual, or conversely, sleep little and still feel rejuvenated. This happens because, during sleep, you're accessing information from other dimensions and recalibrating your energy. Many chosen ones report extremely vivid dreams, spiritual encounters, and even sensations of being elsewhere while they sleep. This is a sign that you're crossing dimensional portals while resting. All these changes are irrefutable proof that you're no longer the same. Your energy, your body, and your mind are in tune with something much greater. You can no longer return to your old self, for now you know the truth. The signs are clear. You're being prepared for something grand. Don't try to resist or fit in where you no longer belong. Your journey is just beginning, and the universe is ready to reveal the next step to you. Now, the only question that remains is, are you ready to accept your true identity? You feel that no one understands you, that there is an insurmountable distance between you and the rest of the world. But this isn't a punishment, it's an invitation. The solitude that the chosen ones face isn't an empty void without purpose, but a mandatory passage to connect with the divine source. Isolation doesn't mean absence, but presence. It's in this silence that answers begin to echo, that the veil between the physical and the spiritual worlds becomes thinner. Each solitary moment is an opportunity to hear the Creator's call, to decipher the codes He writes into your soul. The world wants you to distract yourself, to seek company to escape from yourself. But the truth is that the solitude of the chosen ones is training. God is setting you apart for something greater, molding your mind and spirit, so you can carry the mission that few could bear. The greatest spiritual masters went through long periods of withdrawal from the world. Jesus spent 40 days in the desert, Buddha meditated under the Bodhi tree, Moses climbed Mount Sinai alone. This disconnection from the external world is the key to connecting with the divine universe. Don't fight against isolation, accept it. It's proof that you're on a different path. Solitude awakens hidden gifts, activates perceptions that were previously dormant. When you distance yourself from the noise of the world, you begin to perceive signs, energies, and even messages that once went unnoticed. Silence is the language of the higher realms, and it's within it that you'll start to understand your true role. But the journey isn't just about enduring isolation. It's about using it as a tool for growth. Learn to transform solitude into a direct channel with God. Meditation, deep prayer, intuitive writing, and connection with nature are gateways to this communion. When you feel lost, talk to the source, not as someone who is pleading, but as a child conversing with the Father. When the world doesn't understand you, remember that true understanding comes from above. God never leaves you without answers, but you need to silence the external world to hear Him. Being a chosen one means carrying an intense light, and that light attracts both good and evil. Have you noticed that some people are bothered by your presence for no apparent reason? That heavy environments drain your energy? This happens because your vibration is on a different frequency. To survive spiritually in this dense world, energetic shielding is essential. First, protect your mind. Your thoughts are portals. When you allow yourself to absorb fear, anger, and insecurity, your aura weakens. The enemy knows this and will try to manipulate your mind so that you lower your guard yourself. Refuse to feed energies of doubt and low vibration. Prayer isn't just a request, it's a shield. True prayer doesn't come from the lips outward, but from the soul. When you pray with intention, you build an invisible fortress around you. Before leaving home, ask for protection. When going to sleep, Visualize a circle of light around you. Imagine a barrier of spiritual fire that prevents any negative energy from approaching. The spiritual realm is real, and your words have power. What you declare in the invisible manifests in the visible. Beyond prayer, there are other spiritual practices that strengthen your shielding. The use of crystals like black tourmaline can help repel negative vibrations. Herbal baths with rosemary, rue, and lavender cleanse your body's energy and restore your spiritual balance. Incense and smudging can purify your environment, removing negative energies that accumulate in the space. But remember, no object replaces faith. The true power is within you, not in the instruments. They are merely aids to awaken the strength that already dwells within your spirit. If you are a chosen one, your life will never be easy. Have you noticed that everything you achieve comes with more difficulties than for others? This happens because your soul is being trained to withstand great responsibilities. You cannot be weak, cannot be manipulated by the system, cannot be like the others. Every trial you face is a hidden lesson, a key to unlocking your potential. Do not complain about the weight of the cross. Understand that it is shaping you for something you cannot yet see. The power of a chosen one lies in their resilience. Many try to flee from the mission because they feel it is too heavy. But those who give up will never discover what was at the end of the path. You may even feel like giving up, but never stop walking. When fatigue comes, connect with your essence. Solitude may seem like a burden, but it is the gateway to self-knowledge. Spiritual attack can be exhausting, but it is proof that you are disturbing forces that do not want your ascension. Inner strength does not come from outside, it comes from the awakening of your essence. You need to feed your soul with spiritual knowledge. Read sacred books, study hidden teachings, meditate on universal truths. The system wants you to remain in ignorance because an awakened chosen one is dangerous. They see beyond what is shown, they question, they do not submit. The greatest tool of resistance you can have is knowledge. The more you understand who you are, the harder it will be for any force to manipulate you. You are not alone, other chosen ones are awakening too. If you feel isolated, know that there are others like you around the world. Each is in their own process, but gradually, the awakened souls are recognizing each other. Connect with those who speak the same spiritual language as you. Protect your energy, strengthen your spirit, and never doubt your purpose. The path of the chosen ones is not easy, but those who persist become immortal in eternity. The changes happening in the world are not mere coincidences. Prophets, sages, and visionaries have always warned about a great transformation that would come to separate the wheat from the chaff, the truth from illusion. The chosen ones are being awakened to fulfill a crucial purpose in this transition. You feel it in your soul, don't you? There is a restlessness, an urgency, an internal call that cannot be ignored. It's as if something is about to happen, something big, profound, and irreversible. What many have not yet understood is that this change is not just external, but also internal. The veil separating the worlds is becoming thinner, and the chosen ones can already perceive the signs of this transformation. If you feel like you're living through a rupture, that your consciousness is expanding, and that everything around you seems to be changing at an accelerated pace, know that this is not an illusion. You are witnessing the beginning of what was prophesied millennia ago. Since ancient times, there have been predictions about a time when humanity would go through a great purification. Sacred texts speak of an era where the truth would be revealed, where the light would become undeniable, and those who were ready would be called to guide humanity. That moment is now. The planet's energy is changing, and those who have a deep spiritual connection can already feel this vibrational shift. Everything that once seemed fixed is now in motion. The systems that govern the world are crumbling, illusions are being unmasked, and a new time is approaching. The chosen ones were prepared for this moment, even without knowing it. The pains, the challenges, the isolation, all were part of training so they could be ready when the time came. And that time has come. You are here for a reason, and what is coming will require the chosen ones to assume their role as bearers of the truth. If you feel you were born for something greater, but the world tries to convince you otherwise, know that this is no coincidence. The battle between light and darkness has always existed, but now it is more intense than ever. Those who belong to the darkness know who the chosen ones are, and will do everything to make you doubt yourself. They will try to trap you in cycles of pain, isolate you, weaken you emotionally, and make you believe that you are unimportant. But the truth is that your presence here is a threat to them. Your light is powerful, your energy disturbs, your consciousness is dangerous to those who wish to keep humanity in ignorance. That's why you've suffered so much. That's why you've been tested countless times. But now is the time to stand up. You can no longer doubt your power, can no longer accept living as if you were an ordinary person. You are not. The universe has always sent signs to those who were awakening. Prophetic dreams, visions, inexplicable synchronicities, feelings of déjà vu, an inner calling that never disappears. You've experienced this, haven't you? Something inside you knows that there is more than meets the eye, that reality is much deeper than what we've been taught. Now, these signs are becoming more evident. Time seems to be speeding up. People and situations are leaving your life suddenly. You're being guided down a different path. All this is part of the plan. You cannot resist this transformation. Your intuition is stronger, your perceptions are changing, your soul is crying out for something greater. What is happening to you is real. You are evolving to a new level of consciousness. Since we were born, we were taught to believe we are limited. The system programmed us to accept a false reality where we are merely physical beings, without purpose, without power, without connection to something greater. But this illusion is collapsing. The chosen ones are awakening because the truth is being revealed. You are not just a body, you are not just a mind, you are an eternal consciousness living a temporary experience. You came to this world with a purpose far beyond what you've been taught. And now, it's time to remember who you really are. This is not about a belief, but a reality that is becoming increasingly evident. The matrix is being exposed, and those who see beyond the lies are realizing how much we've been deceived. Have you noticed how it seems you never fully fit in? As if there were something different about you, something others don't understand. This is because you are not from here. Your spirit does not belong to this system. Since childhood, you sensed that you saw the world differently, that things didn't make sense the way they were presented. You tried to fit in, tried to be like others, but something inside you always resisted. And now you understand why. You were not made to be controlled, to follow orders blindly, to live a meaningless life. You've always had a greater calling, and that's why the world never fully accepted you. But your rejection was your greatest protection. You were kept apart so you could see the truth when the time was right. We are entering an era where the chosen ones can no longer remain hidden. The time of anonymity is over. You are being called to assume your position, to be a beacon of light amidst the darkness. Many will still not understand what is happening, but you will understand. And when that moment comes, you need to be prepared. Your pains, your experiences, your solitude, all were necessary so that you would be strong enough for this moment. There is no more room for fear, doubts, or hesitation. You are not alone. Other chosen ones are awakening along with you. The time of great transformation has arrived. If you feel these words resonating in your soul, it's because this call is for you. The time of choice has arrived. You can ignore it and continue living as if nothing is happening, or you can accept the truth and embrace what has always been inside you. But know this, there is no going back. Once the truth is seen, it cannot be ignored. Your awakening is inevitable. What is to come will require that the chosen ones stand firm, prepared, and connected to their true essence. Are you ready? We have reached the most awaited moment. Everything that has been said so far has led you to this powerful revelation. The truth that has always been before your eyes, but that few have the courage to accept. If you have felt that you never fully belong to this world, if your journey has been marked by challenges that seem to shape your soul rather than just test your resilience, then prepare yourself. What you are about to hear may change your perception forever. This is not just a theory or a simple spiritual concept. It is the key to understanding who you really are and why your existence defies the laws of the ordinary. Take a deep breath, open your mind and your heart, because the answer you have been waiting for throughout this entire video is about to be revealed. The great truth you need to know. You have spent your entire life feeling that there was something different about you, haven't you? Since you were young, the people around you seemed to follow a common flow, while you saw the world in a much deeper way. While many were distracted by superficialities, you pondered the purpose of existence, your real mission in this life. Perhaps you tried to fit in, but something inside you always rejected this imposed pattern. Now, you will finally understand the reason for all of this. You are not just an ordinary human being. You are in a process of transcendence, a process that few experience because it requires a soul strong enough to awaken, to recognize the illusions of the world, and to see beyond the veil of material reality. Listen carefully. You are not just a body, you are a consciousness expanding into something greater. Your sensitivity, your intuitions, your connection with something invisible to most, all these are signs that you are evolving beyond human limitations. The world wants to make you believe that you are small, that you must conform, that you must follow rules created by others. But you feel inside that there is something much greater waiting to be discovered. Have you noticed how strange events occur around you? How coincidences seem, in fact, to be messages? How certain people appear in your life to teach you something and then disappear? This is not by chance. It is a calling. It is a sign of your transformation. When I say that you are no longer human in the conventional sense, I do not mean that you have ceased to be part of this physical reality, but rather that your spirit has transcended the limited programming imposed by this world. You are awakening to your true spiritual identity. You no longer identify with illusions, you are not bound by dogmas, and you can no longer be controlled. This is dangerous for those who want to keep the masses asleep, which is why they have always tried to discredit you, silence you, make you doubt yourself. But now you have clarity. You know that something much greater is happening within you. Most people live imprisoned in the cycle of matter, trapped in momentary desires, distractions, and conditioning that prevent them from ever questioning anything. But you feel that there is something beyond. You have dreams that seem more real than waking life itself. You feel that your intuition has become sharper, that you sense things before they happen. You perceive patterns, signs, messages from the universe that previously went unnoticed. All of this is part of your process of transcendence. What is happening is that your vibration is increasing. You are leaving behind the common frequency of humanity, where fear, scarcity, and manipulation reign, and moving into an expanded state of consciousness where you perceive your true essence. You are beginning to feel that you no longer belong to this world in the same way as before, and this can be frightening at first. You may feel loneliness, feel out of place, but understand, this feeling of not belonging is not a mistake. It is a call to something much greater. If you identify with these experiences, know that you are not alone. Many are going through this transition, but few talk about it. You may be feeling that your body reacts differently, perhaps more sensitive to people's energies, perhaps feeling the need for more time alone to process everything. Your emotions have become more intense. Your sense of empathy has increased to the point of feeling what others feel, even without them saying a word. You are no longer content with superficial explanations, because the truth is shouting inside you. If this resonates with you, know that this phase of transition is just the beginning. There is more to come. Your spiritual awakening is leading you to a new level of existence, where your true mission will begin to manifest. Your life was never ordinary because you were never an ordinary person. You carry a purpose within you, and the more you resist it, the more intense the feeling that something is incomplete becomes. Since we were born, we have been conditioned to believe that we are small, fragile, and dependent on systems that govern us. We are taught to fear the unknown, to doubt our own feelings, to seek external approval for everything we do. But you feel inside that these rules never made sense to you. You realize that fear is an illusion created to keep people imprisoned. But now you are free. Your transformation means that you will no longer be manipulated. You will no longer be controlled by fear, guilt, or the need for acceptance. You understand that your existence goes beyond the physical, beyond what you were taught. You no longer need to fit in because your purpose is to create a new path, not to follow what has already been imposed. Now that you know this, what will you do with this information? You can ignore it and continue trying to fit into a world that was never meant for you. Or you can accept it and start living according to your true nature. The choice is yours, but know that once you awaken, there is no turning back. You can pretend that none of this is real, but your soul will always call you back to this path. If you've made it this far, it means your awakening has already begun. Now the question is, are you ready to assume your true power? Are you ready to accept that you were born for something greater than just existing within a system that never understood you? Are you ready to live with purpose, knowing that your mission is to illuminate the world with your truth? Now it's your turn. Have you felt that your life has always been different? That you've always seen the world in a unique way and never managed to fit in? If so, then share your experience in the comments. Let's create a network of connection among those who know they're different, among those who are awakening. Write in the comments, do you feel that you are not just human? Do you feel that there's something greater waiting for you? Let's strengthen this community of chosen ones, because you are not alone. There are many like you spread around the world, waiting to connect with those who share the same truth. If you've made it this far, you've already realized it's not by chance. But there's something even greater you need to know. Fire God has already unleashed something grand for your life, but few are prepared to receive it. Don't make the mistake of ignoring this. Police Scarlight, click now on the video appearing on the screen and discover what is already guaranteed for you. Money bag.